On today's episode of Flowers, I had a chance to sit down with Shadasia Green, one of the hottest female boxers dominating female boxing. Here's how it went. Welcome to Flowers. I am your host, DJ Payday, and I am here with the champion, Shadasia Green, one of the hottest female boxers, coming for all the belts.
Right.
Shadasia, what's going on?
Thanks for having me.
I couldn't wait to have you up here, man. Listen, it's hot right now. It's very hot right now. And the female athletes, I just want to give a shout out to all my female athletes right now that's killing it, that's going to Tokyo. Listen, Shadasia, I've been watching Shadasia for a very long time in this sport. A very long time. And it's like, she's at the height of her career right now where men are afraid to get in the ring with Shadasia right now. So listen, man, I just want to get into, first things first, I want to get into the start of everything. I know you've always been an athlete, you know, very good at basketball, and then it's like out of nowhere, you just turned into this fighter, like really out here dominating the game. Like, I've been watching you, and I feel like now you're like, you ready?
Yeah, definitely. Right, definitely. It's funny you say that because I was a basketball player first, and I was dominant too. I was nominated All-American. I mean, Player of the Year 3 times in a row from Paterson Nj, and I actually got a full scholarship to Old Dominion University. And I remember the first time I walked into a gym, man, I tell this, it's the same story. It's never going to change. I met a guy by the name of Barry Porter. And if anybody knows Barry, he's quiet, he's conservative. He had his feet kicked up on the desk and he had black shades on. Oh, I thought he was asleep, but he was watching me. He was watching everything. And I had this real tough coach from Paterson Nj, Edward Black. And he was on me. Man. It was tough. Telling me that I need to get in better shape. So I'm like, which way to do it? I hated to run. I don't like running. I didn't like running. So I'm like, I'm gonna try boxing. And I walked in there and I started learning on my own. I was training a little bit with Eddie Johnson. And I wanted to get better because I seen everybody around. I was watching all these other fighters. It was great. Like Troy Perry, Kendall Moore, Kismay, all those guys. I was watching them. Like, these guys would fight. Like, so I wanted to be like them. But Eddie Johnson, he was in and out, you know what I'm saying? He was busy himself with his son. And one day I just asked, I said, excuse me, son, can you help me with something? And we just took off from there, man. And I actually had, like, I want to say, I was getting a lot of, like, coaches come visit my home, trying to get me to come to school. Right? So I remember this day, and I was in the gym. And my phone was ringing, my mother was calling and calling, and I literally had like 3 letters of intent on the table. A letter of intent is basically like how you sign on to go to college, like full scholarship. I was nowhere to be found. They was trying to sign me, I was nowhere to be found. So my mother called Barry, like, Barry, send it home right now. So I go there, I'm like, Mom, I want to box, I don't want to play basketball. Coach looked at me like, what? You're $80,000 a year for your education. Right. My mother been teaching me about college since I was 8 years old. She made a deal with me. She said, Shadasia, listen, because the coach told me I couldn't play ball, I couldn't box no more. I can't play ball and box. So she said, listen, go to school, get your degree, try it out, meet with people, bring me back the degree, you can have your life back. I swear to God, that was the deal. She said, you can have your life back. That's what I did. I went to school, graduated, went to the Sweet 16, won some conference championships, traveled all over the world, came back. I ain't like basketball no more. I went straight to the gym. It was over. And me and Barry were just working and build from there. I made the USA team, the Olympic team. My weight class, I was heavier, so it wasn't in the Olympics. Went to the World Championships. Dominated. I lost my last fight, too. I had 4 or 5 days in a row compared to going into the World Championships, fighting once a year because there wasn't a lot of women around to fight. So that was it, man.
How was that experience for you?
It was scary.
It was scary.
It was
Because
scary.
I know you was out of the country and everything, right?
Yeah, I was in Kazakhstan, so training with different trainers. I think I had a fractured hand at the time too.
Wow.
I was fighting every day. Anybody who tell you that they're not nervous, they lying. It's a lie. You're nervous every time you step in the ring. If you're not, you don't care. Right. So every day, I'm around Olympics, different countries, different coaches. I had to go in there and fight. Right. It got real when I beat the returning champion. Right. She gave me a concussion too. She hit me in the back of the head, everything. And I fought every day. Last day, medal rounds, championship fight, I lost to Kazakhstan. It was in Kazakhstan and I lost to Kazakhstan. It was crazy. I was exhausted.
But it's an experience you will never forget.
Never, because it drove me to be a monster after that.
Harder.
Oh yeah, I train 3 times a day now. I never want to feel the way I felt in that fight. Right. Tired, exhausted, can't punch, can't go no more. Right. I never want to experience that again. Never.
So it's like, I know people tend to feel like boxing is just like, oh, you just got to know how to fight. You don't realize the mental part of it.
It's more mental than physical.
Right.
It's more mental than physical. Because mentally you got to push yourself to do the things necessary to get in the ring personally. Right. To be able to even step in the ring, you gotta have your mental right. But you combine the two, you get good results.
And I could have had anybody up there, but I chose to have you because not only are you a female fighter, but you are making, like, I feel like you're kind of changing the game. We had a prior conversation and you were telling me how, you had a lot of offers and a lot of people were coming to you, they wanted to do things with you, but you're not jumping to the first thing that comes your way because you're standing for something.
Right.
And I feel like by you doing it, and like I said, I pay attention. Anybody that come on this show, I'm literally paying attention to you every week. And I appreciate it because I need you to continue on so the kids can follow you. And, you can just change the dynamic of things. And I want you to stay that way because it's super important. Now, I know it's a female fighter, Clarissa. I think I'm saying,
yeah, Clarissa Shields.
Yeah, Clarissa Shields. I've been seeing a lot about her. I've always heard about. She's always stood out far as female fighter. Yeah, and I know you had a run in, like you helped her.
Yeah. We was on the USA team together. We was teammates and we would spar and we created fireworks. You know what I'm saying? Right. It wasn't all just me getting off. It was her too. She's solid. Right. She's a 2-time Olympian. Right. She earned everything she got right now. And we was teammates, we was cool. But again, once you get into the sport, right, the fans make you enemies, man. Exactly. Because they want to see certain stuff. Right. And my coach just said this the other day. I hate the fact that, once anybody I see, they gonna fight Clarissa. Listen, Clarissa is doing her own thing. She's not in my weight class. I'm chasing my own dream, right, in my weight class. Let me dominate my weight class first before we decide to do everything else. But you gotta respect that because she earned the right to call herself the GOAT. She's a 2-time Olympian. She's undisputed. She's a world champion. So she's working. So I never be jealous or bitter. I take, notes like that's how she's doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I add to mine. But I'm happy for her. I think she's putting on.
And that's how it should be. You know what I mean? I don't think it should necessarily be a situation to where you guys have to beef because y'all in the same sport, y'all are female fighters, y'all both got to go. At the end of the day, like you said, you gotta learn how to take things from people and be inspired and make it your own and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? It don't necessarily have to be. The fans will definitely make it something that it really is.
You could be best friends before you become boxers, man. And one person could be 160 and the other person could be 168. If the fans say, yo, this is the fight we want to see, they start saying stuff, put stuff on their
try to make it happen.
Yeah. And if it make dollars, it makes sense too. You know what I'm saying? Money talk.
Yeah, I understand. And then I know you were telling me how, in this profession, they want you to be a little more arrogant. They want you to be real, vocal and just out here calling people out. But I feel like you don't have to take that route.
No. I don't want to take that route.
You don't have to because your skill speaks for itself. It does.
Right. I appreciate that.
It really do. Like most boxers that I do know, they loud mouth, they talk a lot. And I know it's a part of the business, whatever, but like I was telling you earlier, I feel like that's what makes you unique because you don't necessarily have to do You don't have to do all of this because the skill is really you gonna put the show on.
That's how I sell the tickets.
Exactly.
You know,
to me personally, I would go see a still fighter than a loudmouth.
Right. Exactly.
That's just me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I'm not knocking nobody else.
Right.
You know, Floyd was quiet when he first got in, and then he wanted to be the one. So before Floyd was the top rank, and then you know, he'd talk a little bit, call out the champions, make a little bit of noise. But at this point, his weight class was reigning with a bunch of people. And at the time, Oscar De La Hoya was the man. So he had to keep saying Oscar name until he got the fight. And the fight broke records. From that moment, Floyd flipped the amount of money that he bought himself out the contract to become his own boss in the ring. So it's a time and place. Like he'll tell you too, like you gotta know when to turn it off and when to turn it on. You know what I'm saying? So
now, I mean, my thing is as long as it makes sense, you know, I just feel like some people do fight on more than they can shoot, right? When it ain't time.
exactly.
You know what I mean? But like I said, I've been watching you for a long time, and I feel like the journey and the story is what makes it personal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you didn't jump out here wilding out.
Oh no.
You kind of took your time, and now it's like I've been picking you up though. Like, like I've seen you transform. I see your body change. I see you how you are. Period. You know what I mean? This is for you. Yeah. It's like when you figure out what's for you, you'll turn on. And you just do your thing. I just don't ever want you to allow anybody else to take you off your route.
Oh, never. Never. You gotta be strong-minded and level-headed in this profession. And I was never a follower, man. My mother raised me to be a leader. I talk a lot about it because she's really, you know, really responsible for the success. So, you know,
same here, and I big up my mom 100%. You know, I'm always giving out love to my mom because, you know, that those wise words back from where they come from to me mean a lot. And it showed. Yeah, it helped us. It showed us like blossom. Definitely. So you gotta give them their flowers while they're here. And she was my first. She was my first. She was my first person on the show. She needed hers. And you know what I mean? She had to get hers first. But I just feel like, you know, being a female boxer, especially coming from my city, that's another thing. I'm proud. Yeah, super proud. I just want you to, you know, continue doing your thing, man. I remember us having a conversation, and you were saying that you always get your head trimmed off about this. But you spoke about how Mike Tyson wasn't he wasn't the boxer for you.
I'm probably gonna get a whole bunch of
listen, it is what it is. This is how you feel.
I feel like Mike Tyson gonna see this show. Mike, I like you, Mike.
Yeah, we love you, Mike. But you know, everybody's entitled. Yeah. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Yeah. You know, you being a boxer yourself, you know, it's different styles that
you watch.
Right. Yeah. So who's that person for you?
Honestly, man, I've been watching Floyd Mayweather. You've probably seen every last one of his fights. He's one of my favorite fighters. Just everything about him, and it's not just his fights; it's his training too. How hard he works. Sometimes my team be telling me, "You gotta chill. We're afraid that you gonna overwork yourself." But Floyd never overworked himself. Right? And that man go. And then it's Canelo Alvarez. I love Canelo. I watch a lot of people like Cornell Whitaker. New Javante Davis. I like Javante. Sugar Ray Leonard. All those guys, man. My grandfather was a good boxer too. He hit real hard too. So. I mean, Shakur Stevenson, just Teofimo Lopez, all of the quick and crafty guys. Yes, that's what I want my style to be: quick, crafty, and strong. So I like Mike too. You know, I like Mike. I mean, when we're watching heavyweights, I'm watching people like Riddick Bowe, you know, Vander Holyfield, people like that. Even George Foreman. I just started watching George because everybody think George was just this big, strong power puncher, but he was smart. He was smart. He was doing maneuvers with his hands. Some of the stuff I've been working on in the gym today. So I just watch. I go back. It's like school. You know what I'm saying? I used to watch it just to watch it, but now I watch it to study. Right. Well, I don't even watch regular TV sometimes. So just watching that. That's it. But you got to be inspired. Like the point of like I was telling you before. You know, like me being a host and having my own show. I love being there. I love Ellen. You know what I mean? I pay attention to those people because that's what I wanted. Right. And I love their style. Yeah. So it's not me trying to copy them or take and do exactly what they did. It's just me being inspired. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, like I created this show to actually show people that
I'm paying attention and I appreciate what they do. It's just more so showing love. You know, some people feel like because you like somebody so much, you want to be like them. Yeah, no, it's not that I want to be you or whatever. I just enjoy what you're doing, right? And it's inspiring me to be white. Right, right. It's successful at something. You're trying to be successful at. So there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely, you know what I mean? Absolutely. So listen, man, you definitely all of those fighters will know who you are if they don't know already. God willing, they will. I'm pretty sure. Listen, man, the world ain't that big. It's small, and I'm sure they talking because you can't turn like if you think of a female fighter right now. Come on, man. Yeah, that's love, man. I appreciate that. I'm watching you. You know, like we had the chance to come get some footage of you in the ring and just. Watching you do your thing, it's like everything's blocked out. Yeah, everything's blocked out until you finish doing what you're doing. Focus, super focused. You gotta be that way. And it's super appreciated, man. Like, appreciate y'all. I know so many little young girls. I've been seeing a lot of little young girls that's been going viral, like doing hand pad work and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like we got a lot in the city too. Yeah, a lot of mothers hit me up. And, I'm trying to get back to everybody because a lot of people think I'm unreachable. It's just that I try to stay out of trouble. I stay out the way. You know what I'm saying? But those parents that hit me up about their children, I always try to reach back. I coach a kids class in our neighborhood. Yeah, so that the kids can get to me. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't got to drive far away where I train. I train kids still, especially if I'm not fighting or if I'm not in camp, which is very demanding sometimes. I'm training. I still train basketball. So I'm real in touch with my society and my city. And you should be. It's needed. You're a leader. Like I said, you took this path, took off. It's for you. It's definitely for you, man. Like watching you. Anytime I go on your page, and I just see like any footage or anything talking about boxing, I get so excited for you because I know you're gonna be great. Thank you. I know you appreciate that. That's love, man. I mean the most. You're the most coming from your peers, man. And you're gonna be great. That matters. It's in there for you. I'm so happy. Took this graph and stayed serious with it. It's an issue. Listen, man, especially come right from Paterson, New Jersey, y'all. Like, that's the thing. We got so many diamonds. We got so much gold out here. We just got to support each other and push. So, Shadasia, this is F.L.O.U.R.S.
Thank you.
Flowers.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Listen, man.
These flowers are beautiful, too. I'm all over.
And your flowers for payday, man. Thank you. Y'all already know. Just want to say thank you once again to the champ. Thank you for coming out with F.L.O.U.R.S. Y'all stay tuned. Shadasia Green, man. Next up, serious, man. Yeah, man. That's love, man. I'm sure. So you're happy, man. They deserve it.